used in many different platforms. The actual art, if you break art down, it's very simple. It's line, shape, form, texture. All those things, all those elements are found in photographs. We take a photograph of something, and really what we're doing is we're painting with light. And that light creates an image on a sensor. Nowadays it used to be film, but it creates an image on a sensor that captures a moment, and you try to take that moment and express it to other people the way you see it, and take your feeling of what you think the moment holds and convey that message to other people. So for me, when I take something and I see something, I like to take a photograph of it and then let other people see it and experience what I saw as my art.
Well, the art is not necessarily always in just the pieces you play, because mostly that's the art of the conductor. So whatever conductor, not conductor, but the composer, like Beethoven, Mozart, whatever. Then the part where you get to express your artistic experience is through how you play it. So you play how you play with your bow, what kind of fingerings you have, how you mesh the groove together. That is very different depending if you have a symphony or if you're a chamber orchestra.
You say I've been doing this for a long time. It takes me back to the reason I am a photographer. And I had a grandmother that was very supportive of my hobbies. And I think I was in 4th grade when she bought me my very first waist view twin lens reflex camera. And I had unlimited film. And I remember looking through a magazine and seeing a slow shutter speed of a waterfall. And I always thought, oh, I wish I could do that. So I learned how to do that. I learned how to slow my shutter speed down. I learned how to use aperture. And that really gave me the bug. So fast forward with my students, to see a student do something that they haven't seen before or they haven't experienced with the camera, and realize they do have control over the situation, really gives me that spark to keep me going, keep pushing kids, keep introducing them to new ideas or techniques to keep the craft true and fresh.
Orchestra is just, I find it a bit unique, since generally my interests are more STEM oriented, so like math, science, stuff like that. Orchestra is something I find that is still fulfilling, but can give me a break from stuff if I am like tired of doing math homework for like 3 hours or whatever. I can pick up my instrument and play, and it's something unique that keeps my mind off of things.
I think more so than ever right now, kids that are in high school or ages 15 to 18, 19 years old, you're living in a time when we've never experienced the media bombardment that we're experiencing now with imagery and all the technology. It is overwhelming. I do counsel a lot of kids about different things, different ideas. Usually I'll talk to them about personal things, and somehow that usually wraps around and comes back, and I try to relate it to class or photography or do something that they want to express. And I think you're living in an interesting time because everything you see, everything you do is image related. Advertising, the shirt you wear, the clothes you wear, the shoes you walk in are all art. And where do you see it? Well, you see it because people take pictures of it, and you see it through media, through social platforms, you name it, billboards, everywhere. How do I inspire people? I like to try to find what people are about, find out what they're interested in, and relate the art to that. You can't take pictures of the things you don't love. You gotta love things to take pictures of.
It definitely gives a sense of togetherness. So when you're playing, you have not only your section that has a lot of same experiences as you, but then you have people who've been through high school or through middle school and have been playing with you, and then you know their playing style as well as their personality. And then also, I would make sure to tell them to stick through it, because there is definitely a bit of a learning curve with a string instrument, especially when compared to like a trumpet where you can pick that up in a couple months. Instrument intonation is a lot more difficult for a string instrument, so stick through it.
I have, and it's typically the moms who will come up to me and say, oh, I need a better lens so I can take better pictures. No, it's not the lens. If you go through my class, hopefully you learn a few things about composition and the ways to create an image. There are techniques you can do to make the viewer view your picture longer and be more engaged in your image. Once you have that craft down, you become a better photographer.
A common misconception would probably be that playing fast is always better, because playing fast, sure, it's cool, but generally it's not. The pieces that you play that are fast are not always as nice to listen to as, say, more lyrical pieces like Bach or whatever, as compared to like Baroque pieces. Generally, people like listening to more lyrical than the fast playing. And even so, the slower playing can also be just as difficult, if not more, because you have to make sure your tone is consistent and you have good bow pressure, bow control, stuff like that.
I think photography or digital imagery is going to be probably one of the most important classes you take in the future. I think, again, with all the technology, with now AI, we see images being deep faked, we see images that are created by AI. I think the more we know about imagery, the more we know about manipulating images, Photoshop, it's going to benefit people. And I think every job, every platform, every technology is going to incorporate imagery, and you better know how to at least have a basis for taking a good image and manipulating it on some kind of format and platform.
I think personally, I would not want to pursue this as a career necessarily, because one, there's a lot of commitment that I would like to commit to other aspects that have my interests, but definitely as like a hobby or in a community orchestra kind of thing, I would like to bring music to the community, stuff like that. And it's not only personally fulfilling, but also like spread the word to other the community so that you can come and see the symphony play, stuff like that.
So this picture was kind of by accident. Myself and another teacher named Jim Dethridge were doing a project with a group of students where we would take a picture as photographers. We would give it to creative writers, and they would write a poem to the picture without any verbal communication with each other. And each student would then present on a day together, and the photographer would say what they were thinking, and then the writer would read their poem and tell them what they thought from the image. And it was a really fun critique to have. This picture was our starting point. I had to do a picture for Mr. Dethridge to write a poem to give the kids an example of what we were doing. So I was at my sister's house in a place called Scamakaway, Washington. Very kind of a fall day, a lot of fog. There's a little slough that goes directly into the Columbia River. We're about 16 miles from the mouth of the Columbia River. And I happened to walk out the door, and it was very foggy, and I put a bag in the car, went back in the house, and I thought, I should get my camera. And I came back out, and some of the fog lifted, and this is what I was left with. I could see Redmond Hall up here on the hillside. I had all this fog coming through these little vents in the wood over here on the side, and it was really a very lucky photograph. I didn't have to set it up much. It just happened to be there. I probably took 3 photographs. I thought consciously about my rule of third, and I thought about putting Redmond Hall in the upper left, because I had the light and the fog over on the right diagonally. And I just thought it was a well-composed image. I love the contrast. I love the mystery of the photo. And then if you ever get a chance to go check out the poem that goes with it is about a small town that's dying because of the logging industry going under, and they're left with this vacant old town. So, but it's one of the better photos I've ever taken, I think.
You just say thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching, guys. Like and subscribe.
Okay. You're good.